VFX Bro here. We're going to be going through a breakdown and short tutorial on the effect in the Final Cut King YouTube Next Step video. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Now the effect we see is a shot that starts off with Zach and then pans over to see Zach take down all of these bad guys. And so a few things we did here is, one, we kind of cheated the amount of bad guys because we really only had 2 guys on set, but we kind of duplicated them by having them run through all these actions at different times and then masking a bunch of different shots together. This was shot on a tripod, and then giving the illusion of having all these guys there at one time. Andrew Kramer kind of runs through the details on videocopilot.net. But the part we're going to be going over today is the transition that we make from Zach to this because this is shot on a tripod, but yet we see Zach here in a moving shot. So how we're going to do this is we're going to start off by taking our original shot here, bringing that into a new composition, and you can see that the shot actually started back here, came up on Zach, ran around him, and then it popped up to turn around here. We can see the original shot. When you turn around, there's no one there. And that's how it was in real life, but we added in those other people. So the way we did that was we took a second shot that was as close to this spot right here as we could get, and this is what we got. Was this shot right here. It was a little bit earlier in the day, so it's brighter, you can see, and we basically meshed together all these shots of different bad guys. Let's go ahead and get started. First you're going to do is go composition settings. We're going to extend this so that we have some more time to work with, make it 16 seconds. And okay, so all that we really need to do is be specific on what we shoot on the day of shooting. And we can see here that what we did was, before that tripod shot, we actually started it off panned down here, and we are using that to kind of mix in. So we see here that the move starts right about here, and we want to switch it over when it's the blurriest. So right around there looks good. And let's go over to this shot. Right about there looks about the same spot, and we're just going to match that up. And so we can see here it switches over nicely. It's a little bit bigger, but the audience doesn't really notice that. And then what we're going to do is also we're going to change the levels a little bit, because we can see that this shot is brighter than this shot. So we're going to take our levels here selected, bring it onto our top layer, and we are going to darken this down a little bit. And we can actually make a side-by-side comparison here by first having this selected. Here's a nice little tool. What we can do is take a snapshot and then go back to that snapshot right away. We can go back to that by just hitting this show snapshot button right here. So that's probably not the best frame to use. Let's go back to right about there actually, and let's take a snapshot of that, and then let's go to our new frame here and let's take a look at that. So it's pretty close, probably a little bit darker even, so we're going to bring this down even more right about there, and let's show that, and that looks pretty consistent. That's pretty good there. Again, we're just looking for the brightness. We're not looking for anything as far as the content of the shot. And then it pans over. So that's a pretty smooth transition right there. Again, when you're shooting, you want to make sure that your shutter speed is probably around 120 or less. That way you have a decent amount of motion blur, which masks the transition effect. You can see we have this terrible shadow there. Not something that we can't fix with just kind of cropping in the shot a little bit. Another thing that we're going to do here is, if we kind of run through this here. Action. We can kind of see that it stops abruptly. So what we want to do is add a nice camera shake so that it kind of eases into that shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this shot and make it into a new composition, and then we're going to add a camera shake to it. So we're actually just going to hit shake, and we're going to add that to our footage. And it's not going to start till we get up here towards the end. It's going to start right about here when it ends. So we'll go right there, and we're going to change our speed. Let's try 1 and see how that shake looks.
Action! Action!
It's probably a little too much, or not enough shake there. We want to get some more shake going on. So we're going to select that. We're going to make it the positioning of the shake higher. And we're going to make the speed probably, let's try 1.5. And then another thing we're going to do is we can see that we have that shadow there. So once it gets to this point right here, we're actually going to scale up. So set a keyframe there, and then from the time that it gets to right here where the shadow starts to begin, we're going to scale it so that we don't see that shadow. Alright, let's take a look here. We can see that the shot transitions over very nicely. We got a nice camera shake afterwards that adds to the illusion that it's a handy cam and that it's all one continuous shot. This has been VFX Bro with a brief tutorial and overview of the multiple shooter effect in the Final Cut King YouTube Next Up video.